Namaskar, Vanakkam, welcome back to the Vegan Veranda, your favorite place for all things Indian, vegan, and maybe international.
Sometimes. For many years, I've been interested in different world cultures, especially Asian cultures like Japanese and Korean. So I've been interested in Japanese culture even before I went vegan. So after some point of time, when I went vegan, I heard so many, I saw so many videos, and I read a lot of articles that Japan is a very seafood-rich country. A lot of people there have so much seafood, and I have never visited Japan. I would like to visit Japan someday, but I was a little bit skeptical that what will I do if I'm a vegan in Japan? Will I be able to eat anything? Will I be able to survive even if I don't know the language? How vegan friendly is Japan? So that was the question.
Yeah, even I was curious to know whether there are vegans in Japan. If so, how are they living their lives? So luckily, we just did some scouring on the internet and we found our guest today, and he has kindly agreed to come on our show and tell us about veganism in Japan. He's 23 years old, he has a YouTube channel, and he makes videos on veganism both in Japanese and in English. So, again, pardon my pronunciation, Yoroshiko Negaishimasu, Taiki Kobayashi-san. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, doing great. How about you guys?
Great. We are really happy to have you on the show to throw some light upon Japanese culture and international veganism, in particular. So
I'm very, very, very glad to be on the show too.
Yes.
Yes.
So a little bit background. I was just looking at the Reddit posts on r/vegan, or I think r/vegan activism, and somebody posted that there is this Japanese YouTuber who is a vegan and he is facing a lot of hate comments on his videos. So just go and give it a like and post some positive comments. So I just went and I was very interested to see a Japanese YouTuber talking about veganism in English. So that was very new to me. I think you are one of the only ones, right, who are speaking in English and Japanese.
I don't know anyone else who does English videos as vegan.
Then you are the only one for us.
Yes.
So
I guess so.
Let us just dive right in. Can you tell us why you decided to go vegan, and what was your inspiration for going vegan when you thought about it?
Oh, should I introduce myself first?
Sure, please.
Okay. My name is Taiki Kobayashi. I make YouTube videos in English and also sometimes Japanese. And if I make Japanese videos, I put English subtitles, so all my videos are going to be, non-Japanese friendly. And I live in Japan. I was born and raised in Japan. And I've been vegan for about a year now. I went vegan last year, March. So, year and 3 or 4 months, I guess.
Yeah.
And the reason why I went vegan was I found out about the factory farming, which was a brutal practice against animals that are raised for our human profits, like clothes, food, and food is, I think, the most common reason for people to go vegan. And how I found about that was I participated in an animal rights movement last year, 2020 January, and it took place in Tokyo. After that, I was skeptical about going vegan in Japan. Like you said, there's no image of Japanese people going vegan. And I knew about veganism, but I just didn't think it was possible to go vegan in this country. But as I met so many people who are either vegan, vegetarian, or flexitarian, I found out about that we can go vegan, and of course I could learn more about practices behind animal agriculture. And I didn't really watch the Dominion or other footage, the factory farm footage, but I read a book called Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. I think I pronounced his name right. And that book covered a lot of aspects of factory farming, and that's how I found out about the brutal animal treatment, and I didn't want to contribute to that no longer. That's my story.
So did this pandemic situation have any effect on your decision to go vegan? Because you went vegan during the pandemic, during the COVID pandemic.
I didn't.
No.
Didn't have
No,
anything to do
it was
with
before,
pandemic.
slightly before.
Okay. And even
Right.
even we see that I don't think Japan is very much affected by COVID, or is it? I think it's very controlled.
It is.
In your
It is affected, but it's not like other some countries restrict the time for going out.
Yeah.
So if you go out in, like, let's say Australia without a mask, you're gonna be fined, or like you're gonna be given a ticket. But in here, it never happens. You can go out anywhere you want, anytime you want, without a mask on. That's fine. That's how the Japan is like.
But I think
pretty
many
much,
many
yeah.
people follow it out of habit anyway. It doesn't
yeah.
need to be enforced, but people are doing it anyway.
Right. So we have very strong collectivism culture. I guess that's driving people to act similar or same way.
So what I want to ask is, when you decided to go vegan, did you face any strong resistance from friends, family, etc.? How was that?
I did some. I had a very big argument with a best friend from high school, and he criticized my decisions to go vegan very, very aggressively. And I think it was last year summer, and I was like, I'm done with this guy, right? I had a lot of time. I spent a lot of time with him, but I was like, if he's like that, then there's no way I'm gonna be staying friends with him. But I think this year spring, I was kind of settled down with a resentment that I had, and I texted him, and and I just kind of apologized for not contacting him for a while. So yeah, sustaining relationship is going to be very hard, but I think there's a way, because even vegans, we miss people, because we are still a group species. Some people would stay with only vegans, but I think there's a way to stay friends with even omnivores. If it's there's a way, I believe.
So just to be clear, you were not asking your friend to you were not forcing your friend to go vegan. It was just that he couldn't understand your viewpoint. Is that so?
Right. He started asking me why I went vegan, and I was explaining because there's like an ethical reason that I was not aligning with my moral value with, and he was like, "What about plants? And like, what about lions? What about what about those people in very isolated country like Mongolia or something? They're like only plant animals available." And he started very aggressively. He started to talk to me in that way, very aggressively. And I was like, why is he talking to me like that? I thought we were friends. And I started to hold indignation towards him. But now that's all behind.
That's great because people
time could heal. Yeah.
People always say that vegans are the one who are pushing this thing, that we are forcing people to go vegan, but most of the time that is not true. We are not forcing others to go vegan. We'll say like, I'm vegan, that's fine. If you don't accept it, that's fine. We want to remain friends. But so many times though, the other people don't understand why we are vegan. So sometimes they act negatively. But we have to make good whatever bad feelings we have. So that is it's a great story.
Thank you.
So what have you've tried a little bit of vegan activism in Japan? You might have at least spoken to a few people that you know. Maybe you've attended some marches, like you said, some groups of vegans you've met. So, what do you think is the general attitude of Japanese people or Japanese society when you talk to them? Like, this is the situation. You should care about animals. You should stop eating meat. You should stop eating dairy. What is the attitude that the people over there have?
Well, Japan is I would call it conformity, island of conformity, right? It's like we were taught not to bother or disturb others. That's like how we were brought up. And a lot of people think that's forcing. And a lot of people think if I were to tell people to stop consuming animal products, that's like forcing others to do something, you know, like don't push your beliefs to others. That's bothering, that's disturbing others, you know, that's not culturally acceptable or something. And we also have like very collectivism cultures, just like I explained earlier. And if there's a, you know, saying, a proverb that's, I'm sure it's the same in English, but the nail sticks out, hammer down.
Correct.
That saying is very, very strong in this country. Even if you're not vegan, if you have like dyed hair, naturally like blonde hair or darker skin, or I don't know, even if you have like a tattoo, people are gonna have like prejudice against you. Because that's not the same, you know. Japanese people tend to act the same way and look the same way, and you know, nobody tries to go out on the street and dance to the music, because nobody does that. Just people are too suppressed by the external causes, in my opinion. And that's how Japanese people look at veganism, as something that's disturbing and unusual, which is very violating the cultural value or something like that. Yes.
So if you go to say a mall or something, and you know, you pick a random Japanese person and then you talk to them about veganism, could you maybe highlight some kind of excuses that they come up with, or you know, the rationalizations that they make when they justify animal products?
Yes, the most common one is going to be, well, plants have lives too. Plants are alive too, and I'm pretty sure they don't mean that.
Everyone knows that's not true, but they will still use it as an excuse.
Yeah. And also, as long as we are grateful for the food, I think it's justifiable to eat animals or plants. Either is fine. And we have a very strong gratitude culture towards food. There's a phrase, itadakimasu. It's like thank you for the food, thank you for the life that's being sacrificed. And people tend to justify, you know, oh, as long as we're grateful, that's fine. Oh, we're grateful, so that's fine, right? And to me, being grateful, animals don't give a shit about that. They're dead. They wanted to live. But that's the very common excuse that I hear from Japanese people, definitely.
So it's the same as everywhere else. Around the world, people will give the same excuses. Nothing new that you are facing.
But I think being grateful is kind of unique to Japanese culture, maybe.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of American arguments, like if it's humanely slaughtered, that's fine. So like if it's like open farm, that's fine. If it's coming from a slaughterhouse, that's not good. And they're eating the meat from a slaughterhouse at the same time. So they're not taking action according to their belief. So yeah, I guess everywhere. What's unique about Japan is, you know, being grateful for the food.
Hopefully we can.
Other arguments common.
Yeah. Hopefully we can find out solutions to that argument as well.
Yeah.
So would you say that it's possible, say tomorrow, if the Vegan Veranda team decides to, travel in Japan, and we get a lot of money, and when we decide to travel in Japan, so do you think it would be easy for someone who doesn't speak the language, who doesn't know much about like what to order, what foods are available? Do you think it would be possible for vegans to, be comfortable in Japan?
It's going to be difficult compared to other countries, like English speaking. If you speak English, the labels
Yeah.
on the like ingredients
Yeah.
are going to be much easier to read because they're in English. But there is a Facebook group or other groups that you can refer to when you choose vegan food. What are the availability for vegans, and a lot of people post vegan friendly food there.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's from America. He says he's vegetarian, but to me he's vegan because he doesn't drink milk either. The cow milk, dairy. And if he doesn't speak English, he doesn't speak Japanese. He only speaks English and little Chinese, but he can live as vegetarian or to me vegan. So it looks like vegan. So yeah, it's getting easier and easier because a lot of people are starting to speak English, and the group, there are tons of group. Like, is it vegan in Japan or vegan in Japan, something like that.
So is this the case similar with non-urban, like suburban areas, like
Not
countryside?
Tokyo, not Osaka, places like that.
Because I'm assuming it is easier in Tokyo, Osaka, and all these big cities, but not
Yeah.
necessarily in the urban. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. Tokyo, I think, is the most vegan friendly place because that's where the most vegan restaurants are, and also Okinawa has a lot of vegan restaurants, and Kyoto. But if you go to suburbs, you don't see a lot of vegan restaurants, so it's going to be really hard to eat out if you're living in suburb. But just the products from companies, food companies, is going to be anywhere. So you can take a look at the group and see the availability and decide which one to choose.
Right.
So that's the case, yeah.
It's great. We will have to make sure to join those groups in case
Yeah,
we do travel.
yeah,
someday.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Have you experienced any benefits to your general health and well-being since you went vegan? Because I'm assuming that you were a meat eater beforehand. You might have
Yep.
been having fish and sometimes dairy and eggs also, but you made
Yeah.
the switch to vegan. So that is a bigger shift for you because the whole team of the Vegan Veranda used to be vegetarian and we went vegan. So the only difference was dairy. But when you made
Yeah.
this change, did you see any health benefit in you?
Oh, definitely. The biggest one was that I had a very high blood pressure. Every time I did a blood test, the doctor would say, you have very high blood pressure. Are you gonna die or something? Like that. So I was like, what is going on? And my mother had a similar problem, so I thought that was a genetic thing. But I read a book called How Not to Die by Michael Greger. Yeah, Michael Greger, and he covered all those health benefits if you go to plant-based. Switching plant-based, the benefits of switching plant-based, and I had found a section of high blood pressure, healing, curing, So I was like, oh, yeah. Well, that was after I went vegan. So I was like testing my blood, and it really did lower my blood pressure to the normal level. So I found it very, very impressive. And I also had I still have like a bit allergy, like hay fever sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes, but not as often as I used to. Back when I was eating meat,
Yeah. Even
I
I've
had
noticed.
terrible
Yeah.
allergic reaction. Yeah.
Right. So when I used to drink milk, I didn't have any problem per se. But when I went vegan for like, and I've been vegan for 4 years. So when I did go vegan, afterwards, even if there's a trace amount of dairy that enters my food by accidentally, I develop not an allergic reaction per se, but I get bloating and stuff like that. So it kind of shows that we are not essentially fit for consuming animal products per se. But anyway, what I wanted to touch upon is that we have spoken of Okinawa. So Okinawa, I come to know, has this diet called the Okinawan diet, which is the traditional Japanese Okinawan diet, and I found out that it has like less than 1% of animal products in it. And
I've heard that
really?
they are the longest living, one of the longest living people in the world.
Yeah.
Oh.
So have you
That explains
by chance, yeah. So have you by chance encountered any of these centenarians?
Like from Okinawa? Anyone who's from Okinawa?
Yeah, maybe.
Do they have any significant difference in their health effect? Because we have heard that they have mostly vegetables and mostly vegan, very small amounts of meat and dairy, and that is why they are considered to be the longest living people in the world. So have you heard of it? Is it true? Can you tell us something?
This is actually my first time hearing it, but that explains why Okinawa is very vegan friendly place. Yeah, I guess that explains why.
Because I've also noticed that there were some research papers that said that Okinawa had this high lifespan, and once McDonalds and KFC actually started coming into Japan, the lifespan actually started decreasing. So it's kind of funny,
Ironic.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because meat has a lot of toxic chemical inside. Like there are like feces and ammonia. If you thinking of chicken, they're packed in a very small cage, and there's no place. There's no differentiation between bedroom and bathroom or toilet. They're just pooping in the same place.
Yeah.
And their bodies are polluted.
Yeah.
And how can they be very healthy to eat?
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So to the viewers and to the listeners out there, we want to touch upon some other things which are not related to veganism, and this should show you that vegans don't talk about veganism all the time. We just use it as a medium to communicate with people around the world. We have one thing in common with Taiki-san, but maybe we have some other things in common as well. So Taiki-san, you've told us that you are a teacher for Japanese. You teach Japanese through English. So slightly coming back to that little bit, I would say that your English is very, very good. I would say even better than ours. Your vocabulary is quite good. So have you?
Thank you.
Have you? I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I've seen that so many Japanese people are not great at English, but you are really great. So can you tell us that have you visited outside, or have you done like really intense study of English?
Yes, I lived in Canada for 1 year when I was in high school, the first year of high school. Right after graduation from middle school, I went to Canada. I begged my parents to make me go to Canada because I was at that time I was done with the Japanese collective culture. I have like autism, like ASD and ADHD. So I was regarded as someone who's a bit weird or off in the brain.
In schools.
And in school, like everyone, not everyone, but
some people.
Like teachers, especially, some people, teachers would treat me like I have like mental issues, and I was like, what? But I saw like American TV shows where everyone is different, Like
Yeah.
everyone gets to dye their hair whatever color they like.
Yeah.
They're have piercing tattoos and stuff. So I felt like oh, okay, maybe if I go abroad then I can be accepted. So I guess that's one reason why I was interested in learning English. I always liked English from middle school, but after seeing a lot of American TV shows, I started to like English a lot more, and I have very high motivation by the time I graduated from middle school. And I begged my parents, "Oh, I want to go to Canada. I want to go to Canada. I want to go to Canada." And they were like, "Okay." You know, they suggested I go abroad during a university year, but I was like, I insisted. Yeah, that's how I got to Canada and studied English and some culture. Yeah.
So was there any particular reason why you chose Canada?
Yeah, I'm also
Well-
curious. Why not Australia? Why not US? Because Australia
Right.
is quite close to you, no?
Yeah. At that time, I had a. Well, this is going to sound very strange, but there's a belief or something like that, like a trend that only Japanese people have, that the Canadian accent is the most beautiful English accent in the world.
What?
That's what Japanese people say.
Okay.
That's very subjective to me,
Right.
if you think about it. But that's the belief that a lot of Japanese people have. So I was like, and America is not as safe as Canada. I mean, right.
I think
so
it's slightly more expensive.
America, yeah.
I think so.
Also, America was more expensive and more dangerous.
Okay.
My parents were concerned about that. So that's why I decided to go to Canada instead of Australia or somewhere closer. Yeah,
Great.
that's interesting, right?
Great. Very good.
It's a beautiful accent in the world.
It's a very, very rational reason.
Oh yeah.
So would you say that it is easy for Japanese, English speakers to learn Japanese, or how long should it take, or if any of our viewers are interested in learning Japanese, what time period can they think about to learn, basic conversation
Okay.
or basic writing?
Maybe 2 years to be fluent.
Okay.
And actually, conversation in Japanese is not as hard as you think. Reading, writing are the disgusting part of Japanese. They are
We get
Terrible.
scared by
They're
looking
terrible.
at kanji.
Kanji.
Oh yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
How many
But
kanji do
speaking
you
is,
know?
I think I know about like 4,000 kanji.
Wow.
We know exactly 0.
I'll teach you one. I'll teach you.
Probably
I'll teach you how to say one.
I think I know one kanji,
Which one?
which I learned
Which
from
one?
Ninja Hattori.
Which one?
I think it's the endurance sign.
I don't think those are kanji, or is it?
This one?
I think the one he wears on his head.
No,
I
not
think
that
he-
one. Not that one. It's
Okay.
it's like a division sign, and then there is like that. There is a Y shape in between, and I mean I can look it up and I'll just send it to you. It's probably
Okay.
I can maybe draw it and show it to you, but
Yeah, we'll do that later. We'll have a separate session for learning Japanese from Taiki-san whenever he gets free time.
Yay.
This
Sounds exciting.
Aravind saw something in your videos that we are also interested in. Aravind, you asked him something?
Oh yeah, so I saw one of your videos and I didn't know that you play guitar.
Oh. Wait, on YouTube or?
No, I just saw your video, one of your videos, and I saw
Instagram.
No, I saw your YouTube video and there was a bass guitar and an acoustic guitar on your back.
Yeah. I do play guitar. I've been playing guitar for almost, I think it's 7 years now.
Ah.
Wow.
I've been playing it for 7 years, and that bass guitar was from someone who I truly cared about in university, and the acoustic guitar that you might saw in one of my videos is my parents' house sitting ready to be sold, because I have a new one, which is the black. I'll show you.
Great.
Sure.
Looks good.
This one is do you know Ed Sheeran?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. So this guitar is the
Signature.
same model as Ed Sheeran's, but different color.
Oh. Which brand is it?
Martin
Martin. So
is the same one Eric Clapton uses.
yeah,
So fun fact.
Martin's.
Fun fact for you: we are also studying guitar for the last. I would say I'm studying since I think 2012 or 2013, and this Aravind is also learning from I think 2 years now.
3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, we have the same teacher.
Yeah. We learn from the same.
Oh, okay. Acoustic or electric?
I have
Or
both. He
classical?
also has both.
Yeah, even I have both. I just got my electric guitar like last year, but yeah.
So I am very interested in metal.
That's cool.
So that is why I play more of the electric, and that is why I want to learn to play some iron
metal.
maiden and all. Yeah.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
Very challenging, yeah.
What genre are you interested in?
I am actually into classical now.
Ah.
I've been practicing some like a finger style picking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do like that,
Yeah.
but I just got bored because that's just chords progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this guitar because I looked at Ed Sheeran and I found it really cool. I'm a huge fan of Ed Sheeran actually.
He does
And
have
that's
a
how
good
I
voice.
started playing guitar. Yeah, he has a cool voice and he also has like a very cool guitar strumming,
Yeah.
which is really hard to mimic
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
We can have
No, really.
You should put out a Ed Sheeran cover someday then.
Yeah, definitely. And then add a metal tone to it, like a metal solo.
Nice. See, we have so much in common. It's not just veganism that we are into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you play bass in a band?
Do I play bass?
Yeah. Do you play bass?
Yeah. But I don't have it now here in this house because I live alone
Yeah.
now. The bass is also in my parents' house.
Ah.
The red one. Yeah.
Coming back to a very slightly serious topic, would you like to comment on the importance of mental health? Like you said, you have faced some issues. Some vegans also face some issues like you have faced. So, what do you think? What is the importance of mental health?
Well, mental health is everything. That's the foundation of human beings. If you don't have mental health taken care of, you're not gonna be able to do anything. So depression, for example, is going to drain your energy out and make you feel helpless and powerless. And I've experienced depression a lot of times in my life stage. And I also had experience of cutting, suicide, committing suicide, and a lot of things that are very disgusting. And how I got out of this negative cycle was that I started reading books.
Ah.
I started to educate myself with more psychology and neuroscience. So, because now I'm feeling this now, and the result, the cause of this is because there's like a neurotransmitter in my brain, something like that, or there's like a perspective, how I look at my life is very biased, or I could analyze objectively how I see my life and why I'm depressed. But sometimes it's not going to be enough for like just the first aid care 'Cause I've made a video about mental health recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I describe some methods, like meditating or writing your thoughts and stuff like that. But these are just caring, like a daily care of your health. Just like, eating healthy, exercising, getting enough sleep. That's similar to that. Sometimes, the life can be too much to handle. And actually, I had a like depression symptom recently, very recently, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
I started to take medication, and I still have it left some. So the reason why I was depressed is because I felt powerless. I thought I was doing everything I could to keep myself mentally stable, but I got depressed. So I was overly trusting my ability. I was overestimating my ability, and I failed. That kind of killed my self-esteem at that time. So I want everyone to know that sometimes it's okay to fall. Well, if you're falling all the time, that it's like you're not doing anything. So I suggest that everyone takes care of the mental health, because especially as vegans, it's crucial. Everyone around you is like your arch enemy, right? They have the opposite beliefs, exact opposite beliefs. And sometimes as vegans we feel very lonely and feel like we are fighting alone. But it's important to take care of your health and also like connect with vegans like this, so that we can share our struggles, like what do they call, like a group therapy or something like that. So as long as taking care of yourself through meditation and other techniques that I introduced, and also sustaining the relationships with others,
It's very important.
is vital. Yeah, very, very important.
So, would you also say that the intense work culture of Japan is also kind of, feeding into a lot of this?
You mean like a mental health issue?
Yeah.
Because we've heard that it's
Oh, yeah.
very stressful in the offices, and it's a very competitive life that we have heard of, and we have seen some videos. So is that a factor?
Yes. So collectivism culture, bringing back to the collectivism culture. I can't even say that word. Everyone is supposed to act the same. Everyone is expected to act the same way, and everyone has like very fixed belief about mental health and also a lot of other things. But I'm gonna talk about mental health specifically. We see depression or someone who's go to the mental clinic or going to the therapy as someone who's wrong. There's something wrong with it. It'd be like the culture looks at those people somewhat insane or undesirable. And I have a friend whose girlfriend is depressed, and he tells me that she's not willing to go to the mental clinic because she regards it as something that's undesirable. So she stays depressed, and I think she's still depressed. And this culture plays a huge negative impact, has a very huge negative impact on people's mental health, and also the family is not as, I don't know, the family bond is not as strong as other country, in my opinion, because we don't get to spend a lot of time, because this is going to be a example. So there's one American girl who complains that her Japanese boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
is not. He's always busy at work. But her friend, the Japanese girl, tells her to respect his working culture because that's what he's passionate about, and men are supposed to work or something like that. Very slow, very delayed, because there shouldn't be a borderline
Correct.
between males and females these days, especially these days. But we still have culture that men are the ones who support the family and overwork, and put everything on his shoulder, whereas females are supposed to take care of the household and children.
Yeah.
We still have that very, very outdated belief. That also plays a role in this depression nation, and also working condition,
Yeah.
because well, there's I find it very, very contradictory about clock in, clock out
Right.
in a Japanese office. So you have to, well, no matter what industry you're in, you have to arrive at latest 10 minutes before the work starts. But clock out, it's very loose. So maybe your boss asks you to be flexible about the clocking out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can stay more, right? Oh, you can stay more, right? Clocking in, you're very strict. Very strict. Even just 1 minute, or even just 1 second, or even just, well, let's say the work starts at 9. If you arrive at 9, you're regarded as a bad employee. Yeah.
You're supposed to come
And
early.
yeah, and that's all they see. Not the person itself, but that's all they say. Oh, he arrives late, so he is a very bad employee. Sorry, very bad employee. We have like a culture like that, but very loose about the clocking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to overwork. That's the culture. This places kind of silent pressure. Nobody tells you that, but the culture is like implying all the time.
Yeah.
Japan likes to imply. So
That is scary to me, as I just started working in a corporate in 2020. So it's been 1.5 years that I'm working in a corporate, and I am very particular about this time. If my timing to leave is 5, I will be ready 5 minutes before 5 to leave. I will go to the washroom, I will clean my face, I will pack my bag, I will be ready, and as soon as the time ends, I will put up my thumb and then I will leave.
yeah, exactly. That's I like that style too. I like that style. But there's even a strange culture where you're not supposed to leave before your boss leaves, or something like that.
I've heard about this.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. They think their boss, Japanese people, the Japanese culture makes you think that bosses are your gods. It's like you have to obey what the boss says, no matter how difficult the task is. You can't really say no, because Japanese people are known as yes men.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess we are very bad at saying no to things. We feel guilty or we feel uncomfortable when they say no, because the cultural value that we have. Everyone says yes, so say yes, something like that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of this cultural thing, I also heard somewhere that it is considered. I mean, see, if I'm a vegan, I'm traveling to Japan and I'm in a small sized restaurant that may not know about what veganism is, but I know what dish to order. I know what changes should be made in that dish. Suppose no egg or no milk or something like that. But I've also heard that some chefs they think it is an insult if we ask to change the dish. Is this true, or it's just hearsay?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question is, sometimes it might so happen that if I go to a restaurant and I ask the chef that I want to change this dish, you are giving me this dish A, but I want some changes to be in it. But I've read that sometimes they take offense if they ask to change the dish.
Yeah.
It happens.
Because the chefs has a lot of pride
Okay.
in their food.
Okay.
So you're supposed to say good or tastes good, even if you don't like it, which is so strange. I hate that. Like, it feels like hypocrite. You know, it's like conforming all the time, conforming all the time. It's like even if you don't like it, you say you don't like it, but people tend to say, "Oh, it's good. Oh, I like it. Oh, it's good." You know. God.
So will the chef get
Nuts.
angry if we ask him to change the dish?
They might not be. Well, they might not be angry, but their face might not look pleasant.
Why is this stupid foreigner asking me to change my dish?
Yeah, it's like I feel insulted. How dare he insults me? Something like that. It's like it's your problem. The customer doesn't like it. Why should it, pretend to like it, right?
Yeah.
And you also
everyone feels so fake. Yeah.
Yeah, you also spoke of how you started to enjoy reading books and all. We also like to read quite a bit. We read some fiction also, and we read some manga as well. So, do you read any manga or you don't?
I like One Piece. Do you know?
1,000 chapters is too long.
It's too long. Yeah, it's about 100 volumes now.
Wow,
Very long.
very long.
Yeah, and also liked Naruto, which is also
Very
very
old,
long.
yeah.
20,
I think
72.
900 chapters or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only manga
But,
that I have read is Death Note, Monster, and Attack on Titan.
Naoki Urasawa
Attack on
Monster.
Titan. Yeah.
Shingeki no Kyojin.
Shingeki no Kyojin. Yeah.
It's great. It's great that we have so much in common.
Yeah. And also I really liked what did I like?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul, yes. It's somehow related to veganism, kind of.
Is it?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah. I did notice that.
Yeah. It's like, do you know the story of Tokyo Ghoul?
I have read the entire
I
manga,
know.
but I didn't enjoy it very much because I think the action was missing. So I would have to see the anime to understand the action. But I know the whole story because I finished the manga.
It's hard to kind of keep up with the story though.
Yeah.
The Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
No,
It's very complicated.
some mangas require you to see the anime. If it is like action focused, then you have to see the anime. Otherwise, like I also enjoy Initial D. You might have heard of Initial D. There is this racing anime.
Racing anime?
Yeah. Street
Like
racing.
racing?
Yeah. There is this guy driving an AE86. Hachiroku they call it. Toyota AE86. So that is one manga I started to read, but it's so weird that the car is just driving and there is some Japanese characters. How is it fun to watch? The anime is fun because I can see the race.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For those anime, I think anime is better.
You're talking about how there's this veganism aspect to it.
Tokyo
Can you
Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul? Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul, yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think so. I think there is similar aspects. So there's a ghoul. There are like two species, main species.
Yeah.
Ghouls and humans. Ghouls, they only have to eat human flesh.
Human flesh.
Right. Now I remember.
And humans are trying to eliminate those. I guess it's more like a hunting kind of. Like a bears from mountains coming to the towns they get killed. I think it's similar to that.
Yeah.
I think I saw a YouTube video that was talking about some anime which is very strongly vegan. I haven't watched it yet. I will see it and I'll tell you. Like we should like check it out. I think it's called The Promised Neverland or something like that.
Yes. So it's about. Do you know The Promised
I
Neverland?
don't know anything. I just saw the thumbnail on YouTube that this anime is very vegan. Question mark. So I don't know what it is.
So briefly explain if I don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay.
oh, should I
Yeah,
explain?
go ahead.
Sure, please.
The plot line is like there are kind of a house on a hill where children, I think the oldest was like 12 years old, are kept, and there's a graduation after certain periods. The child goes out of the house and goes somewhere, right? And children are told that they're going independent. They're going to be in a different world. Like I think that was like an orphanage kind of. Yeah, the place is orphanage. But the protagonist, which is I think 3, and 2 find out that the graduate from the orphanage was eaten by a monster outside the hill.
Whoa.
Or like the farm. And they found out about that, and they're trying to warn the children in here, and they're trying to propose an escape scheme. That's pretty much what the story is about.
Oh, as we were speaking, I've also read another manga, which is Boku Dakega Inai Machi, Erased.
Yeah.
And the other one is Sakamichi no Abolo.
I don't know that one.
That is not.
I only know.
It's actually
Erased.
about classical music, so you would. It's a mixture of
No,
classical and jazz.
Sakamichi is about jazz.
It's about jazz, but the protagonist is a classical pianist.
There is another classical. There is one anime that I watched.
Your Line in April.
No, not that one. That one also. Your Line in April is also nice. I saw another one which got me interested into classical music. That was called Nodame Cantabile.
Yes, I know that one.
That got me interested in classical music because they were all playing all these sorts of things.
Yeah. That Nodame Cantabile was very famous. That they made a movie and TV series, I think.
TV series I've seen. I don't know about movie.
Yeah, I think usually the TV series have their movie, so
Live action.
they made both.
Live action.
Yeah, live action. Yes.
So there are 3 seasons to the anime, and it's quite good.
You know,
So
even Tokyo Ghoul, I interpret it slightly differently. Like, it's like I see the ghouls as kind of vegans and humans as non-vegans. And it's like, instead of eating human flesh, ghouls can't eat human food, right? So we only have to, ghouls only have to eat human flesh. They can't eat other human food.
Correct.
Otherwise they vomit.
Yeah, otherwise they vomit. So it's kind of similar that vegans can't eat other human food because in my head it's like if I eat dairy I'll vomit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can't eat that. I only have to eat this. But then we have to create a world where it's acceptable to kind of live as both. But then eventually we can move on to a point where all of us are vegan. So that is kind of my interpretation in a vegan kind of sense.
Wow. Yeah, that's a new, fresh perspective.
Yeah.
Never thought of it that way.
So I
And
think
also, the humans are trying to exterminate the ghouls, so non-vegans are trying to, destroy veganism. Whereas vegans are like striving to survive, and they have to build their skills like public speaking and all that stuff in order to escape that onslaught.
Like those are weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like ghouls, I guess.
Yeah, Kagune.
With a with what do they call eyes?
Yeah.
Ghoul eyes.
Ghoul eyes.
Yeah.
Wow, we have
that's pretty
discussed
cool.
we have discussed so much interesting stuff today. Finally, I'm sure we can have more episodes in the future. But for today, I think finally I would like to ask you one last thing: is that what is your opinion on the future of veganism in Japan and in the world? So, what do you think?
Okay, so in Japan, there is actually a ministry of the environmental minister is has a positive perspective on shifting to plant-based meat substitute because he understands the meat industry contributes to environmental issues.
Right.
And also, he sees it as a growing demand to kind of for the wealth of the country. Although our perspective is different from his, because we're vegan for animals, not for the environment. Environment maybe, but more like animals. But there's like a movement like that, and population of vegans is growing dramatically, and it's not as hard it's not as hard to find vegans as it used to be.
Yeah.
Maybe just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think 2002 had a huge vegan movement. So one of my friends predicts that there is a vegan trend coming in Japan, where not everyone, but a lot of people, a significant number of significant people turn vegan. One of my friends predicted that. For the world, I think it's going to be the same, because some people believe that the pandemic is from animal industry, and in fact a lot of contagious disease is from animal industry. So like avian flu, Spanish flu, and all those things, influenza, they're all from animal industry. Yeah, so like transmitting disease. So people started to realize that, and there was actually one interesting study in the United States that after the COVID hit the country, the demand for the vegan food skyrocketed.
Yeah, we have seen that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people start to realize that the omnivorous diet or animal agriculture is not working for just not working for the earth or for human race. So I think it's going to be a lot more people going vegan domestically in Japan and as well as globally in next maybe 5 years. Maybe double in 5 years, maybe. Double the number.
You have a positive response to this question, that you think that a lot of people will go vegan. I also have a very positive response to this in India also, and in the world also. But Aravind is slightly skeptical, so let us hear his point of view for like 1 minute.
Okay.
I mean, we still haven't reached critical mass, and we still have a long way to go. That's what I think. It's like we took 400 years to abolish racism, and we still haven't achieved that level. I mean, it's still legally now you're disallowed from participating in racism and stuff like that, but there still is racism to some extent in society.
Correct.
Like especially in India, if you see that the northeast people are kind of discriminated in the mainland because of their appearance. They look more Asian compared to Indians. That's why there is some racism towards them.
Skin color is also an issue sometimes.
Yeah, skin color is is kind of an issue. People down south are more dark skinned. People towards the north are more lighter skinned. But that's, I would say that's much less of an issue as compared to what Assam and
Exactly.
I'm digressing.
What my point is, Arvind, for this is that since we are acknowledging that this is a much bigger movement than any
Correct.
of those others, and this vegan movement is uniting people from all castes and religions and races and all those people. That is why I think it will be faster change. And I'm very positive about this. Taiki-san is very positive about this. You are very negative.
Dude, I will agree with you the moment we reach critical mass.
Next year.
Oh,
Next year.
By the way, Taiki-san says 5 years. You're saying next year.
No, he's talking about Japan. No, I'm talking about India.
Okay.
Even faster than Japan. Way to go.
One can only dream.
Oh, so you're admitting that this is a dream. See,
It's a dream that will come true.
Dreams come true.
Yeah.
True. That's true.
So, thank you very much, Taiki-san, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Where can people find you on the internet? Your YouTube is, I think, Taiki Kobayashi.
Yes, if you search Taiki Kobayashi, you can find my channel.
You're
If
also on
that's
Instagram and
too
Facebook.
We'll also link it in
Yes.
the description.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And
So, here's hoping that we do visit Japan sometime, and we do get to
Yeah.
hang out and make some music and discuss
Yeah.
more some fun stuff. Surely
And
you are
manga.
very welcome to come to India anytime. We will
Yeah.
jump on the
Yeah.
next train to see you. Don't worry about that. And for others, maybe if there's any international viewers of this video, the podcast, and we'll tell you that it is very easy to be vegan in Japan according to Taiki-san, but more so in India, I would say, because most of the street food, most of the cuisine you see is mostly vegetarian. So you can ask the people to make it vegan for you. So definitely the Vegan Veranda is there to help you out. Taiki-san, you can go on his Instagram for some help if you are going to Japan. Surely he will help you out for being vegan.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
big thanks to all the listeners who are still here. If you're still listening at this point, we love you. Well, we love you even if you don't, but we love you, okay?
we love you anyway.
Yeah, we love you anyway. So thank you for listening to the podcast.
Do check us
follow
out on all the different places, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Our social media manager Aravind, Mr. Aravind will respond to your messages. So until next time, we'll see you on the same veranda where we'll talk about something else relating to veganism in India or abroad. So until next time, stay safe, stay vegan, and goodbye.
Goodbye.